Alright, now we're going to move on to an example when c is negative. Alright, and sometimes it's easier to find out or to do problems if you label over on the side exactly what each is. So you have a is 7, b is negative 26, b is negative 26, and c is negative 8. Or some people like to multiply like this. Either way, the AC method would be 7 times negative 8, and we are getting a negative 56. So we need factors of negative 56 that add up to negative 26. So you can do a couple of different methods. We've already done the table method in these notes, so I'm going to do the diamond method. So they have to multiply to negative 56, and they have to add to a negative 26. And if you look at your factor sheet, you'll hopefully that'll help. We have if we did 2 times 28, that would be 56. One of them has to be negative, and since it has to get to negative 26, it'll be 2 and negative 28. So then what we do is we got to split up this negative 26 into 2 and negative 28. And what I'm going to do is I have 7x squared out front, and 28 lines up with the 7 much better than the 2 does. So I'm going to do minus 28x plus 2x minus 8. And I'm going to do that because 7 is a factor of 28, and that seems to help in this case. This is where we split it up, and we're going to factor out as much as we can from these first two terms. So I'm going to factor out a 7x, and from the first term, the only thing that's left is an x, and from the second term is a 4. And then from these last two terms, I believe we can only factor out a 2, which leaves us also with x minus 4. So once again, these are the same, and if those aren't the same, you did something wrong. You have to go back, check your work. Then the last thing that we do is we just bring these together. So 7x plus 2, and then x minus 4 is our factored answer. Go ahead and pause the video, do these next two practice problems, and then make sure you let me check them before you move on. Alright, now there's one more that we want to cover, and this would be factoring out a monomial first. So this looks like a pretty difficult problem, but really they all have a common multiple of 5. So if I factor out a 5 first from all of the coefficients and the constant, we'd have 4x squared plus 16x plus 7. And now this seems a little bit more manageable once we take that 5 out. So what we do 4 times 7. So 4 times 7 is 28. And they have to add up to 16. Well, 1 and 28 wouldn't work, but 2 and 14 does. So I'm going to split up that 16x. Okay, now I got to rewrite everything. So we have 4x squared. Okay, and that 2 is going to line up with the 4 because the 14 is going to line up with the 7 a little bit better with common factors. So I'm going to go plus 2x plus 14x plus 7. Okay, and then we're going to do our normal, split that up, and then a common factor here, let's see, would be 2x, and then 4x squared divided by 2x. You get 2x left plus 1. And then over here we can factor out a 7, and this would be 2x plus 1 as well. So if you put it all together, remember these are the same, they have to match up. Put it all together, you have 5 times 2x plus 7 times 2x plus 1. So that's an example of where you would want to factor something out first to make the numbers a lot smaller and easier to work with. Once again, you don't have to use the diamond method, you could use the table method. And if you want to go ahead and try those next two problems, and make sure that you check in with me, that I see that they're done correctly before you move on to your homework.